Hey everybody, just a quick update. Yeah, believe me, I miss it more than everybody else. Um, I got in a fight with my clippers. I lost. I was trying to use my iPhone as a mirror, trimming my beard, and it didn't work out. So hopefully I can get it grown out here. A couple weeks it'll be at least covering my face up again. But I just wanted to give an update. Um, Today I purchased tickets round trip to and from Dallas, Fort Worth, with obviously the goal being to meet my birth father and siblings. And it was weird because it's like, as soon as I called them, I don't like doing shit online, so I called them, and as soon as I made the reservation, gave my credit card number and everything, I just got this real big sense of, I don't know if you'd call it anxiousness, nervousness, uh, or what, but anyway, yeah, so it's official. July 31st through August 9th, I'll be in Dallas. I'm going to try to get one of my family members to record the meeting, and hopefully everything goes smooth. I'm like really crazy nervous. I can't even explain it. Um, so yeah, crazy shit. And I just decided that, this coming Saturday, the 21st, is my birthday. So I decided I was going to treat myself for my birthday. I didn't even call anybody. I just called the airline and made the reservation. So, Dallas, here I come. Sorry for the short notice. I got a pretty decent price on it, so I'm happy with that. That's why it's spaced out. I wouldn't have stayed 10 days or 9 days or whatever, but in order to get good prices on the return flight, I had to adjust. So hopefully I can stay with my family members there, that my mom's family members that are that I know already, that I won't be so awkward to try to, because I can't afford a hotel for 10 days, that's for damn sure. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. Lastly, a couple people have asked me how I found out that the father that raised me wasn't my biological father. Excuse me. For those of you who don't know, I dip, and for some reason my salivary glands are in overtime right now. And I wasn't going to go into that. I think I mentioned, I wasn't going to go into the details of it on the first video I posted about it. But I figure, what the hell? This is kind of an open book thing, and people want to know, so fuck it. Here goes. As I said, I was the result of an affair that my mom had. She was already married to the guy who raised me at the time. They had been married for 9 years or so beforehand. Like I have said time and time again, I hold no judgment against my mom, because my dad, you'll find out as this story goes along, was a pretty big prick. He had his good side too, but anyway, for the first 15 years of my life, I went on the assumption that he was my dad. But I remember, even when I remember one time when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and we were in Texas, and I have this vivid memory of being in the kitchen, looking up at my mom. She was doing dishes in the sink, and asking her if I was adopted. And she asked me why, and I was like, well, I have, blonde hair, and you guys have dark hair, and, and even, as time went on, I was real kind of a husky kid, obviously. And my dad was real skinny. I mean, he was 6'3" and like 135 pounds. He was like a walking skeleton. And then, my mom would say stuff like, no, you're not adopted, or, blah, blah, blah. But I just had this weird feeling that, all through my childhood, I had a weird feeling that I'm sorry, I just got a text from my brother. That I wasn't 100%. And the crazy thing is my dad was actually adopted. His birth mother, he wound up finding her when I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and we went to visit her and all of his brothers in Pennsylvania around that time. So, at any rate, fast forward to when I was 15 years old. My dad and my dad, you have to understand, he was just an angry person. He wasn't physically abusive, but he was very mentally abusive to both me and my mom. Every day was a scream fest. And he would come home pissed off because somebody at work did something wrong, or somebody cut him off in traffic on the way home, and he'd take it out on us. And when I say scream fest, I mean veins popping, spit flying out, just anger, legitimate anger. And I never understood why somebody could get so pissed off about such trivial shit. And I made it, watching that growing up, I made it my life's goal to not be that way in any way, shape, or form. I'm a pretty mellow dude when it comes to that kind of stuff. I get angry, of course, everybody gets angry, but I never get to that screaming, yelling, veins popping out stage. And if I do, I'm really fucking pissed. But I can count maybe twice that's happened in my whole life. But anyway, fast forward to 15 years old. My dad and I were in our typical fight match about something. I don't know what it was. I was pissed off. I couldn't tell you what we were fighting about. Couldn't tell you. But it got to where I was like, I hate you. Typical teenage angst shit. I hate you. I don't want to live here anymore. 15. I had longer hair, so I was like, I hate you. And he just popped off and he goes, well, have you ever heard of artificial insemination? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, there you go. And just hold on, because he was lying. I was like, whoa. Kind of like if there was an imaginary referee there, he would have stopped and said, hey, whoa, keep him up. Keep him above the belt. So I just kind of sulked back into my room, and because I was born in 73, which meant I was conceived in 72, and back then artificial insemination wasn't exactly common practice, not like today where they're really good at it. But I was in there and I was kind of crying into my pillow, and my mom came in, because I guess that's the lie they had told everybody, because my dad was unable to have children because of his health issues. So my mom came in, and I told her, I was like, I feel like I'm some kind of a test tube baby or an experiment or something. And then my dad came in, and she says, you know what? We're telling him the truth now. And that's when they told me. And of course I had all kinds of questions. What was his name at least? And sorry, I just got a text message. She told me his name, and up until I found him, I was convinced that she lied about his name. Because she said she didn't even tell him, because they were both married. He had kids from his marriage, and she obviously was married to my dad. And she didn't want anything screwing up his marriage, because it was just like a one-time thing, I guess. And come to find out, my dad had been holding it over her head the whole time that if he ever told, or she ever told me that he would, you know, tell everybody what a whore she was, and blah blah blah. And you gotta understand, we're from Midwest, small podunk town. It's not. I think most people knew deep down, and I think even like my closest family members knew. But from everybody looking on the outside, from the outside in, she got artificial insemination, and I was the result. But so from that moment on, I just started looking, and even my dad understood too. He, because being adopted, he did everything he could. We went through, because I guess he bowled with, my. They were somewhat friends, not really like good friends, but they bowled together in the same league, and that's how everybody kind of got together or whatever. I don't know. I wish I could go back and get all the details to put them all in order, but being that both of my parents are dead and my biological father doesn't remember any of it, that's lost to time, I guess. It's kind of a sunken treasure ship. But so yeah, that's how I found out. He told me to basically get the last word in the fight. And but again, I'll shit talk him all day long because he's my dad. But he had his good points too. Not very many, but he had some good points. He was always encouraging me to do my best at stuff. I can't remember one football practice that he wasn't at. I mean, most parents just drop their kids off and let them go, and maybe come to the games. My dad was at every practice, every game, and when that wasn't good enough, he started running the chains on the sideline so he could get a better view of the game. And when that wasn't good enough, he became president of Pop Warner football. He was always all in on everything he ever did, which was kind of to a fault. Like, he found out he was kind of good at golf, and he decided he's going to be the next like senior tour guy. And he, of course, it never happened. But everything that he did was going to be the next big thing. He had an invention that was going to be the next big thing, and then put all of his effort and time into that, and it just bust. That's just the kind of guy he was. I can't fault him for it, though. He had ambition. But anyway, so yeah, and it was shortly after that my parents finally divorced, thank God, and went their separate ways after 27 years. So yeah, I mean, it was probably 6 months after that fight that we actually got in a physical fisticuffs and both went to jail, and I got charged with domestic violence because he didn't. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I said no. I guess he said yes. So I had to do all kinds of community service and fucking bullshit drug courses when at that time I'd never even touched anything but maybe a beer. But anyway, so yeah, it was funny though because they finally they come to the realization that they're gonna get divorced, and my dad's I was home alone, and he came home from work, and he sat me down at the kitchen table, and he's like, your mom and I are probably gonna split up, and I was like, good. And he goes, and so you're gonna have to choose who you want to live with. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? In the last 6 months, we've been fucking thrown in jail for fist fighting. And you told me that, you know, I wasn't your real father. He wasn't my real father to get the last word in a fight, and he thinks I have a choice. That's the kind of weird dude he was, though, man. He just never understood why nobody liked him. But I don't know. So yeah, that's the story. And then, you know, for the next 30 years, I spent curious, without much to go on. And then the miracle of Ancestry DNA came along and made possible the impossible. So, and here we are, 2 weeks away, and I'll be on my way to Texas to meet my father, my birth father. So, that's it. Sorry this one's a little bit long, but you know, I've gotten a lot of views on a couple of my videos, and I really appreciate everybody who's watching and subscribing and you know, liking the videos, all that stuff. So keep it up. I'm thinking about starting a Patreon, but I don't know. I just have weird feelings about that kind of shit. But anyway, keep watching. There will be a video of some kind of the meeting of me and my father, so that should be coming towards the end of the month or the beginning of next month. Stay tuned. Love you guys. Thank you for everything. Peace.